On January 1st, California will become a sanctuary state. A new law going into effect will put sharp limits on how local law enforcement can communicate with the federal authorities. But a majority of the state sheriffs say that they are against the law that they are soon going to have to enforce. Joining me now is one of those sheriffs, Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims. Sheriff, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. So how many sheriffs do you have in your state, and how many oppose the new sanctuary state law?
Well, there are 58 counties in the state of California, and most of the sheriffs in the state oppose SB 54. In fact, our association, our statewide association, officially opposed by letter to the author of this bill against the sanctuary state designation.
My information says that 40 sheriffs in your state oppose it. That only leaves 18 that support it. So yes, you're right. The majority, they're not in favor of this. Why don't you like it? What's the biggest problem for you? Well,
state legislators are trying to dictate which federal law enforcement agencies local sheriffs can communicate with. And that's wrong. I believe that we need to freely communicate with our federal law enforcement partners when it comes to the safety of our communities. And the sanctuary state bill restricts that communication. My fear is what's next. Are they going to restrict us from talking to the FBI or the DEA? We should have unfettered access and communication when we're trying to keep our communities safe.
There are two things that stick out for me, that legislators are trying to dictate how you, law enforcement, are doing your job and trying to keep Americans safe, and also that illegal criminals have more rights than the tax-paying citizens.
Well, one thing that we need to remember, once you're on U.S. soil, the U.S. Constitution applies to you, even though you're here illegally. So I agree, there's due process. However, we have to make sure that we hold those accountable that are here illegally and commit crimes and are booked into our local jails are taken care of through our immigration forces and our services. That's the beauty of being able to communicate with our federal law enforcement partners. If they don't have access to our jails and to interview the criminals that get arrested, then what's going to happen is there's not going to be any other choice but have them go out into our communities to do their jobs. Why would you restrict their ability to do their job in a safe, controlled environment like a county jail?
That's the question we're all wondering. We'll have to have you back in about 6 months and let us know how things are going there in California. This law goes into effect in about a month and a half on January 1st. Thank you so much for joining us, Sheriff.
You bet.